Good morning, folks. This is Margaret coming to you again with another video. Today's video, folks, is going to be on healthcare because I worked for so many years in the healthcare system and we worked with different patients with all kind of mental sicknesses. So today, folks, I'm going to touch on the Alzheimer's. They call it dementia. Now, dementia is quite common nowadays among the elderly. Yes, folks, I've worked with them and I've gone through not orientation but through seminars to learn more about how to work with the dementia patient. So today I'm here, folks, to share my knowledge. I am not an expert. We learned from the expert when I was at working. We had regular seminars about the Alzheimer's disease and dementia. So I'm here to share that knowledge, folks. I'm not an expert, but I'm here to share my knowledge based on some of the things that is going on social media and in the general public. We really should let ourselves be aware of these sicknesses. So when we come across people that are suspected to be going in that direction, we can understand what it is and how to react to them. So folks, today the first topic here is we have the experts say that, not me. There are 8 types of dementia and how to recognize their symptoms. Alzheimer's disease is the first condition. Yes, folks, that's the first sign. Alzheimer's disease is the first condition to think of when you hear the word dementia. So Alzheimer's is the first condition when you think of the word dementia. So the dementia term for loss of memory. Yes, folks, the dementia is the term for loss of memory. So apparently when this disease set in, people will lose their memory and they will not remember what they say or what happened the previous day or what they have already done before. They keep repeating the same thing. So that's one good symptom to spot that. So loss of memory, language, and other thinking abilities. That becomes severe. And that becomes severe enough to interfere with the person's daily lifestyle. So yes, folks, that loss of memory, it leads on to further problems to interfere with their regular living. For example, sometimes they will drive out to the supermarket and leave home, drive out to the supermarket, and forget the directions to come back home. So that's one sign of losing their memory, of the dementia setting in. Yes, folks, it's very common among the elderly people. When they lose their memory, the first sign you will find is that they forget a lot of things, and they even start forgetting how to get back home from shopping. Simple shopping. I've seen that myself where I was working with a gentleman and he lives just about 10 minutes away from where the supermarket was, but he could not find his way back. He would drive all over far away from home and somehow, I don't know how he managed. And he tells me that. He says, I end up at such and such a place because he forgot how to drive home from 10 minutes away from home, and he forgot how to find his way back home. Especially if he didn't get the right parking spot, he would get confused, So that will throw him off. So, yes, folks, as I said, memory loss and confusion personality changes, problem with walking and speaking and comprehension. So those are some of the symptoms and the problems that a dementia person will have. Yes, folks. So dementia means that the brain is not working well. As simple as that, folks. It means the brain is not working well. Finding out which type of dementia one has is important to identify the condition as early as possible. Yes, folks, so what the family will have to do is notice the changes in the behavior and the activities and try and get these people, their family member who has these symptoms, to go for a test. Yes, folks, they have tests for that, for them to find out how far the problem is, how far the dementia disease is, so they can even treat it. Yes, folks, nowadays they have treatment for a lot of diseases. If they find it early, what the problems are, they can treat it. There are medication for that. But I notice, folks, that some cultures don't pay don't pay attention to a lot of these things. They will see the family members, the elderly, acting up funny, and they will ignore it or pretend that they are normal when they're not normal. So it's a terrible thing because they will keep denying and denying until the person gets worse. I've seen where family members deny the sickness of the person. They end up in the hospital, and especially over in Canada here, where the weather changes, we have deep, deep freezing temperatures, and many of these people who the family pretend are normal, they end up in the hospital and they will sneak out, not knowing what they're doing, and they end up freezing to death. That's how serious it is, folks. That's how serious it is, especially over in the cold countries where you have the temperature changes. And it is quite severe in a way that these patients, these people that are sick with the dementia or the Alzheimer's, depends on which one it is, they don't know night from day. That's how confusing it is. They don't realize night from day. Because in days when the temperature is quite uh, cold, or the weather is dark and gray and it looks like night when it's not night, you gotta turn on lights in the middle of the day to get light. They don't know if it's nighttime. Yes, they don't know it's nighttime, and they think it's daytime. And sometimes when it's night, they think it's day. So it's very confusing for them. And I know from not from what I learned in the seminar courses, is that some mental care facilities are asking the staff to wear pajamas at night when they work with these patients. Use pajamas as uniforms, so the patient will really realize that yes, it is nighttime, and they would go to bed because they would be up all hours of night walking around thinking it's day, because in the hospitals they use bright lights, bright lights. So on the floors where the patients are, it will seem like day because of the extra bright lights that they have around. So what the management will do is ask the staff to wear pajamas to convince the patient that it is nighttime. So that's how serious these diseases are, folks. It's not something to play with or something to deny. Is that we have to get our families tested and see exactly what is going on. But we know when they're acting up and they're behaving in a certain way that is not normal, we have to get it checked out. And one of the things that we were told in the seminars that I took is that when they start acting up and be aggressive, we can't argue with them because, as the professionals say, when we argue with them, they get worse. they get worse. They get out of hand and you don't know what to do because they don't stop. Because they're not reasonable person. They're unreasonable. So you can't reason with them. Because what they think it is, to them, that's what it is. So you can't argue with them because it only get worse. So I've seen the symptoms all around, and I understand what it is sometimes going on. You know, people may look normal, people may seem normal, they may talk normal, but sometimes they're very confused. But that doesn't say that they won't talk sensible sometimes. But, it's very confusing. It's confusing for them and it's confusing for others that have to live with that because you don't know for sure what's going on with these people. And this is why we have to be very careful how we treat these people because we can't treat them like they're normal because they're not, really not. And this is why it's very important for family members to get their families checked out and find out what is going on because it will go on and go on until sometimes they will wander away from home and you cannot find them. There's so many families that lost their loved ones because they never get treatment for the symptoms that they show. They think it's normal until they wander off home and never be seen again. So, this is just what I'm sharing with you guys today that the dementia and Alzheimer's, those two, one or the other, when we see the symptoms, we have to take them to the doctor and get these conditions checked out. So, folks, that's all I have to say today. I'm not going to stay very long, but have a wonderful day and think twice about what I said. If you have any family member that are acting up and having this kind of aggressive behavior, it doesn't hurt to get it checked out. Get it checked out before it's too late because it will get worse until they end up wander off away from home and can't find their way back. You see. So it's not no shame for family members to get mentally sick like that. But some cultures look at it as um, like it's a big shame. It's a big shame to admit that one of their family members is mentally sick. Nobody buys sickness. Nobody buy this kind of thing, but it's been getting popular now. I don't know what is the cause of it, but it's getting quite popular among some elderlies, you know. I heard of a story one time where this lady said that she had been visiting her dad every now and then, and everything seemed normal. He didn't act up or seem anyway confused. But one day she went to visit him, and he was there having a drink. Don't know what kind of drink he was having, but he was there having a drink and then have a bit of lunch, she says. Like she says, he usually warm up his lunch in the microwave. So he had a bit of something to eat while she was there. And so she visited and she left. And when she got home, like a couple of days after, he called her to ask her to come over to see him. So she went over to see him, and when she sat down to figure out what he was gonna say, he said to her that she came over the other day, and he thinks that she tried to poison him because he was having a drink. Why he said that he was having a drink? I think a Bloody Mary that he made with tomato juice, and then whatever he ate, maybe it wasn't good. It was maybe old or not warmed up properly, and so he vomited up. He vomited up the meal that he had, plus the drink that he had. And so he saw the red tomato color in the vomit. So I don't know what he thought that was. But anyhow, he accused the lady of trying to poison her. So the lady was very shocked and she was very surprised of this kind of accusation. So this is part of what they do, folks, when they get in the dementia. They are so confused that they can't figure out anything. The brain is not working well. So whatever come to their heads is that's the conclusion they arrive at. So he believed that because he vomited up, this person was trying to poison him. Because there must have been something wrong why he why he think he vomited up, and it's just on his own doing. Whatever he ate wasn't good. Food probably stale and old and not warmed up properly. But he blamed it. He accused the lady of trying to poison him. So you see, those are the kind of things that they can start accusing you of doing something that you have no idea what they're talking about. And we have to be careful with these elderly, because when they accuse you of something and maybe somebody called the police or called the authority, you can be in trouble for something that you don't do. That's something that never crossed your mind. So it's best to stay away from them, or don't argue with them, and don't bother with them. Let their family look after them, because what happened is that they may accuse you of something that you don't do. And you'll have to find a way to get yourself out of it. As the old saying goes, don't pick up bungle that's not yours. So we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful, folks. Mental illness is not a joke. It is not a joke. So a lot of people get accused of doing this and doing that, and maybe it's coming from people that have mental illness. They're confused, brain is not working very well, but they look normal. So it's very hard to tell. It's very hard to tell unless the doctor diagnosed them with a mental disease. That's the only way you will know. But you'll never know by looking at them and listening to them, because they can put up a good argument, folks. They can really put up a good argument, and they'll never stop. So somebody who has the brain working, that's the person that would know to stop. So that's it for today, folks. Have a wonderful day. Stay blessed, stay prayed up, and God is good all the time. Bless your name, Jesus. Thank you, Lord. Have a wonderful weekend, folks. Until I see you again. Remember to thumbs up the video. Yes, folks, thumbs up the video. Subscribe, and you can share it with your friends, folks. This video is very important to share. Yes, have a wonderful day. Stay blessed.